The Ukraine conflict questioned Russia's military experience in modern warfare. While Russia boasts a large standing army, its exposure to contemporary conflict scenarios had been limited before the invasion of Ukraine. This lack of experience was evident in some of the tactics and challenges faced during the war. When the conflict started, many experts and analysts predicted that Russia would swiftly conquer Ukraine. However, not only has Russia been unable to accomplish this quickly, but it continues its efforts without having completed its initial mission. While a country like Ukraine is making it hard for Russia, just imagine what the situation would be if Russia and the USA went on an all-out military conflict. In this video, we will dive deep into the stark disparities between the Russian and US armies, exploring their equipment and gear, experience and training, and the vehicles and weapons each country uses. Experience and training. The US military's extensive experience and rigorous training programs give it a distinct advantage over the Russian military, which faced many challenges adapting to modern warfare's demands. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine has provided a number of insights into the relative strengths and weaknesses of the US and Russian militaries. While Russia has a larger and more powerful military on paper, the US has a number of advantages that give it a significant edge in a conventional conflict. The conflict in Ukraine has demonstrated the superiority of the US military in almost every term. While Russia has been able to make some gains in the east of Ukraine, it has not been able to achieve its original objectives of quickly and easily defeating the Ukrainian military. The US military has a more sophisticated training infrastructure than the Russian military. This includes access to more advanced training facilities and equipment. The US military has a number of training facilities that are designed to replicate real-world combat conditions. These facilities allow US soldiers to train in a variety of environments, including urban areas, deserts, and forests. The Russian military does not have as many sophisticated training facilities, which means that its soldiers are less prepared for the challenges of modern warfare. This experience has given US soldiers a valuable understanding of the challenges of modern warfare, while Russian soldiers, on the other hand, have not fought a major war since the collapse of the Soviet Union. The US military also invests more heavily in training than the Russian military. US soldiers receive more extensive training in a wider range of skills, including weapon handling, tactics, and leadership, which gives them a significant advantage compared to the Russian soldiers, which in general receive less training and are more focused on basic infantry skills. Equipment and gear, a stark contrast. The images and reposts that emerged from the battlefield showed that the Russian soldiers were often ill-prepared for the rigors of combat, using outdated equipment, wearing inadequate uniforms, and in some cases also facing a lack of supplies. These deficiencies were not solely due to the soldiers' choices, but were rooted in the Russian military's logistical and supply issues, leaving its troops under-equipped and vulnerable. In sharp contrast, the United States ensured its soldiers were consistently outfitted with some of the finest available gear. This commitment to equipping troops with state-of-the-art gear is evident in the superior quality of equipment worn by American soldiers. The high quality of everything that the US Army provides for their soldiers can also back up the fact that the US military has a much larger budget than the Russian military. In 2023, the US is expected to spend $778 billion on defense, while Russia is expected to spend $65.9 billion. Inadequate gear can result in increased casualties and decreased combat effectiveness. Soldiers with ill-fitting uniforms and inferior body armor are more vulnerable to injuries, while those with cutting-edge gear have a substantial protective advantage. Furthermore, the psychological impact of superior gear cannot be underestimated. Well-equipped troops tend to have higher morale and confidence, which can influence their performance in combat. Conversely, soldiers with inadequate gear may experience diminished enthusiasm and increased stress, affecting their combat readiness. Tanks, aircraft, vehicles. The war in Ukraine has shown that the US military is still the most powerful in the world, with the most advanced tanks, fighter jets, and other weapons and vehicles. While some older, antiquated tanks from Russian museums have been pressed into service due to a scarcity of modern replacements, the United States Army boasts a robust fleet of over 5,500 tanks. However, these aren't just ordinary tanks. They are battle-hardened and battle-tested machines that have proven themselves in various theaters of war. Alternatively, comparing an M1 Abrams, a top-tier US tank, to a T-55, an old and outdated tank, would clearly favor the M1 Abrams. The superiority of the US military extends into the domain of the skies, with its arsenal of dominating aircraft, exemplified by the F-35 Lightning II and an array of modern fighter jets and bombers. The United States Air Force stands as a formidable force. In contrast, the Russian air capabilities have shown signs of stagnation. The absence of a new, cutting-edge fighter jet deployment in recent years underscores this point. Even when attempted, such endeavors have met with limited success and have not posed a significant challenge to the technological prowess of the United States. Logistics and supply chain efficiency. The Ukraine conflict highlighted significant logistical challenges within the Russian military. Reports indicated issues with supply chain management, resulting in delayed deliveries of essential equipment, ammunition, and provisions to frontline troops. These logistical hurdles hindered the effectiveness of Russian forces and contributed to the depletion of morale among soldiers. In contrast, the US military demonstrated its logistics and supply chain management prowess during the conflict. The ability to efficiently transport supplies, ammunition, and equipment to the front lines played a crucial role in sustaining American forces. The US military's well-established logistics infrastructure ensured that troops were adequately supported, further underlining its operational superiority. Logistics and supply chain management efficiency is often an overlooked aspect of military capabilities. However, a prolonged conflict like the one in Ukraine becomes a critical determinant of success. The stark contrast between Russian logistical challenges and the precision of US logistics accentuates the significant disparity between the two armies. International support and alliances. Russia's alliances and international support were limited and often controversial during the Ukraine conflict. The annexation of Crimea and its involvement in eastern Ukraine led to widespread international condemnation and sanctions from the West. Russia became increasingly isolated globally, with few nations willing to openly support its actions. Conversely, the United States leveraged its strong and multifaceted international alliances during the conflict. NATO, in particular, played a significant role in supporting Ukraine, providing both military aid and diplomatic backing. The US's ability to rally international support bolstered Ukraine's position and exerted pressure on Russia to de-escalate the conflict. The international dimension of the conflict underscores the diplomatic and strategic advantages of robust alliances. While Russia faced isolation and international backlash, the United States, through its alliances, was able to garner substantial support for its stance on Ukraine. This aspect further illustrates the disparity in the ability of the two armies to leverage international backing in times of conflict. The war in Ukraine has provided compelling evidence of the disparities between the Russian and US armies. Across multiple dimensions, including equipment and gear, experience and training, and the quality of military hardware, the US Army has showcased its superiority. While it may be an oversimplification to claim that the US Army is 100 times better than the Russian Army, the evidence from the Ukrainian front lines undeniably highlights a significant gap in military capabilities. The Ukraine conflict has underscored the importance of modernization, training, and logistical support in maintaining a formidable military force. As conflicts continue to evolve, the ability to adapt and equip troops effectively becomes increasingly crucial. The lessons drawn from this conflict should remind all nations about the importance of military readiness and preparedness in an ever-changing global landscape. Now it's time for your thoughts. Do you agree with our assessment of the military capabilities of the US and Russian armies? Share your opinions in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more eye-opening content like this. Your support keeps us going.